and we're the three best friends anybody could have. Dan, I'll start with you. Which former Alabama quarterback is under the most pressure this season? Is it Jones, Tua, or Hurts?
Max Kellerman's bad body lookalike, Mac Jones. That's just the truth. Mac Jones is under the most pressure because, one, he's got to replace a guy that he looks exactly like. Mac Jones is not replacing Cam Newton. He's replacing Tom Brady. And he looks exactly like Tom Brady. He operates exactly like Tom Brady. His mannerisms are exactly like Tom Brady. Expectation-wise is that he's going to be like Tom Brady. And we need to stop running from that. I am maybe not the 7 or the 6 Super Bowl championships results-wise, but just the performance, the consistency, the maniacal preparation, the accountability, it's incredibly similar. And so that's what we are going to compare him to. We're going to compare him to Tom Brady because within a year or 18 months, he's replacing him. Number 2, this is an organization won for 20 years. There are fans in New England. If you think of the age demographic in New England, the fans, the 28-year-old to the... They don't really know anything but winning. The expectation is they are going to be really good. They still got one of the best general managers of all time. They got still one of the best head coaches of all time. They spent the most money in the history of free agency, and now they've got the quarterback from Alabama that had led one of the best college teams ever and won a national championship. The expectations in New England were already high. Now we're plugging and placing a guy that looks exactly like the greatest quarterback of all time. Plays like him, talks like him, thinks like him. By the way, led one of the best college football teams ever. The pressure on Mac Jones to go play and play well and win at a high level and be in any AFC title games and goes to Super Bowls is exponentially higher than what Tua has to deal with or what Jalen Hurts has to deal with. Mac Jones is under the most pressure out of those 3 guys.
I don't think it's close. Tua's easily facing the most pressure. Number one, fan base is thirstier. I mean, the New England Patriots, the Patriots fans can wait another season if they think they're going in the right direction and have found Tom Brady's successor. But as a rookie, if you ball out, that's all gravy. If you just hold your own and show that you have a future and you know how to operate an offense and all that stuff, we're expecting some bumps and bruises as a rookie. Mac Jones is also protected behind the line. They spent all that money, all that stuff, right? And he's shown out in the preseason. So he has got, Mac Jones can't look awful, but even if he does, let's say he looks like, Tua last year, he's still going to have a career. He's still going to be a starter.
Tua didn't look awful last year.
Tua was not a starting caliber quarterback last year, and I like him. And he had a preseason game, I think it was game 2 also for Tua, where I was impressed with some of those throws. I was not ready to write off Tua after last year. But let's not pretend the ceiling and expectations for him was already readjusted after last year compared to someone, say, like Justin Herbert, someone like that. Tua last year had bumps and bruises as a rookie. By the way, was taken out, was sat down several times. That's not a runaway success as a rookie quarterback. Year 2 is the development year. He is expected to get better. The AFC East is suddenly tough, especially with the top 3 teams. The Dolphins fans would like to go to the playoffs. If Tua doesn't show something now, not he's okay, but he has the chance to really be a franchise quarterback, he can be relegated. His brand already will not mean franchise quarterback. It'll mean maybe a project quarterback, maybe a guy, if you don't have a quarterback you could trade for, something like that. He is facing the most pressure. All of these 3 guys. If Mac Jones doesn't have a great season, he's going to have a job next year. If Tua just looks okay, he may not have a starting job next year.
Yeah, but that same goes for Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is under the most pressure. Number one, Mac Jones is protected. Max, you alluded to it. He's protected by Josh McDaniels, protected by Bill Belichick, a phenomenal head coach. He's protected by what's going to be a dominant defense. He's protected, right? You talked about Tua, Max. You talked about Tua, and you said, Tua, the fan base is thirsty for a win. There are certain teams and certain fan bases that really, really care about football. Miami's not one of them. Right? Philadelphia is one of those fan bases. They care about football. They want to win. They want to win right now. They want to win in everything, in football, in basketball. There is pressure because of unmet expectations. Not too long ago, Philly won a Super Bowl. And so now you got Jalen Hurts coming in. There's pressure. There's expectations. Carson Wentz is gone now. Who's going to be the future of that organization? So all these things mean pressure. The only other argument you could possibly make is for Tua. You could say because he didn't play last year, there were ups and downs. He was up. He played a little bit. He got benched. He came back. Maybe there's pressure there, but the expectation in Miami is not high on the outside. On the inside, with Brian Flores, yes, there's high expectations.
No.
Yes, there is. But on the outside, the expectation when it comes to a fan base cheering on teams. We saw Mac Jones get cheered in the preseason. We saw Mac Jones get cheered. We saw Justin Fields get cheered in the preseason. We saw these things happen. Chicago boos people.
Look,
Miami's not booing anyone. There's no pressure for
Miami
Tua.
has a sleepy national following, in fact, because they
They're
went
still-
undefeated.
they might
Because of
still
Dan
be asleep.
Marino, I'm not arguing in market. There's more pressure because Philadelphia, there is more in market. That part is true. Tua not only had that no-name defense that balled out, they got him Jalen Waddle. They passed on Justin Fields in the draft, right, in order to get him a receiver. They bring in Gardner Minshew only because, Philadelphia does, only because they got him cheap. Why would you pass on that? That's not like, I'm sorry, I was referring to Jalen Hurts before. That's not because Gardner Minshew is not because they don't believe in Jalen Hurts. It's because it's cheap insurance, a sixth-round pick or something, right? If you look at Tua, the difference between him and Hurts is that the Dolphins have real expectations this season. They are a team that's built to win right now. If Tua balls out, they can go to the playoffs. If he doesn't, they won't. That's not Philly. Dolphins won 9 games last year. Philly did not. Philly's predicted to finish last in their division. That's not the Dolphins. So while there is an argument for Hurts, the position that his team has put him in means that there is more pressure on Tua. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.